He didn't scream when they fired him. He didn't beg. He didn't even ask why. He just sat there, listening as his boss explained how he was being let go for performance issues. That word hung in the air. Performance. After 5 years of loyalty. After weekends sacrificed. After nights spent fixing problems that weren't even his. They smiled while saying it. Like this was routine. Like he was disposable. What they didn't know was that the same system they used to control him was about to expose them. Because every lie they told, every shady order they gave, every illegal shortcut they approved, was written down. And emails don't lie. He was the kind of employee no one ever noticed. Not because he was bad, but because he never caused problems. He arrived before most people. Left after the lights were turned off. Answered emails within minutes, even late at night. When something went wrong, managers didn't ask who messed up. They asked, "Can he fix it?" And he always did. He covered shifts. Took on extra work without asking for overtime. Trained new hires who would later earn more than him. Not because he was desperate, but because he believed loyalty mattered. He believed effort was seen. That honesty counted for something. While others played office politics, he stayed focused on the work. No gossip. No alliances. No complaints. That made him useful. And in toxic workplaces, useful people are rarely protected. His boss trusted him. Or at least pretended to. He was copied on sensitive emails. Pulled into meetings, just in case. Asked to handle tasks no one else wanted. Let him do it, they'd say. He won't make a fuss. And they were right. He never pushed back. Never demanded credit. Never asked why his name was missing from reports he built. Slowly, without realizing it, he became the bridge. The person through whom information passed. Numbers. Approvals. Decisions. He saw more than he should have. But he stayed quiet. At home, he justified it. This is how corporate life works. At least I have stability. Better to be trusted than replaced. He wasn't chasing titles. He wasn't dreaming of the corner office. He just wanted a fair job. That paid the bills. And that's exactly why they chose him. Because when something dirty needs doing, you don't give it to the loud ones. You give it to the reliable ones. The ones who won't ask questions. The ones you believe will never become a threat. They were wrong. The first request didn't sound illegal. It sounded inconvenient. An email marked urgent. Short. Casual. Almost friendly. Can you push this through today? Accounting is slow, don't loop them in yet. We'll fix it next cycle. He stared at the screen longer than he should have. The numbers didn't match the reports he had prepared himself. Not by much, just enough to raise a question. So he asked one. The reply came fast. Don't overthink it. This is coming from above. We've done this before. That last line stuck with him. After that, the requests came more often. Expense approvals with missing signatures. Vendor payments with vague descriptions. Deadlines that didn't allow time for proper review. Each one arrived wrapped in urgency. Client pressure. Board expectations. Time-sensitive decision. And every time he hesitated, the tone changed just slightly. Not angry. Not threatening. Disappointed. Do you trust us? We need team players right now. Don't make this complicated. Those phrases carried weight. They weren't orders. They were tests. Tests of loyalty. Of silence. And failing those tests meant something unspoken. Replacement. He noticed a pattern. The louder employees never received these tasks. The ambitious ones were kept clean. It was always him. The dependable one. The quiet one. The one who wouldn't say no. That realization made his stomach tighten. Late one evening, alone in the office. He reread the emails slowly. The wording. The phrasing. The subtle way responsibility was shifted. Per our discussion. As advised. Proceed as agreed. They weren't careless. They were calculated. And for the first time, he understood something crucial. If this ever came apart, it wouldn't fall on them. It would fall on him. That night, he didn't confront anyone. He didn't refuse. He didn't warn them. He did something far quieter. He started saving everything. He didn't call it evidence. Not yet. At first, it was just backups. A forwarded email to his personal account. A downloaded attachment saved twice. A renamed file with the date in front. Small habits. Careful habits. He told himself it was just being responsible. But deep down, he knew better. He organized everything. Not sloppily. Not emotionally. Precisely. Folders by department. Subfolders by project. Every file named with timestamps. Emails that showed instructions. Replies that showed approval. Chains that proved awareness. No opinions. No commentary. Just their words. What scared him wasn't what he found. It was how normal it all looked. No one sounded nervous. No one sounded forced. The corruption wasn't dramatic. It was routine. He noticed how carefully blame was avoided. Let's move forward. Handle it on your end. Confirm once done. Never direct commands. Never explicit admissions. But together? They told a very clear story. Weeks passed. Then months. The archive grew. And something strange happened. The fear faded. In its place came calm. Because when you know the truth, and you have proof, you stop feeling powerless. He still smiled at meetings. Still delivered reports. Still replied politely. No one suspected a thing. Why would they? They believed silence meant obedience. They believed loyalty meant blindness. They believed wrong. He wasn't planning revenge. Not yet. But he was prepared. And preparation is often mistaken for weakness. It happened without warning. No email. No performance review. No chance to explain. Just a calendar invite labeled. Quick check-in. He walked into the room carrying a notebook. Out of habit. HR was already there. So was his boss. Smiling, but not with his eyes. They followed a script. After careful consideration. Company policy. Not the right fit moving forward. Words chosen to sound neutral. Safe. Final. He waited for specifics. None came. Instead, accusations appeared. Vague, unprovable, convenient. Process violations. Concerns raised. Trust issues. Trust. The irony almost made him laugh. He realized something terrifying. This had been decided long before today. The email chain stopped including him weeks ago. Projects were quietly reassigned. His access had already been limited. They weren't reacting. They were cleaning house. He didn't argue. Didn't defend himself. Because he understood the truth. This wasn't about mistakes. This was about risk. He knew too much. They slid termination papers across the table. A pen waited. He signed. Not because he agreed. But because he was done playing their game. Security walked him back to his desk. Coworkers avoided eye contact. Someone whispered. "Sorry, man." He packed his things slowly. His badge was taken. His email cut off. And just like that. 5 years ended in 10 minutes. They believed the threat was gone. They believed the evidence was trapped. Inside systems he no longer controlled. They believed wrong. He didn't act right away. That was the hardest part. Every instinct told him to respond. To explain. To defend himself. But emotional reactions leave fingerprints. So he waited. Days turned into weeks. He replayed the meeting in his head. The words they used. The way they avoided details. And then he opened the archive. Slowly. Carefully. Not as an employee. But as an observer. He didn't add opinions. Didn't accuse. He prepared timelines. Email threads showing instructions. Attachments showing altered numbers. Replies proving approval. Everything traced back upward. Names. Titles. Dates. No gaps. Then he sent the first email. Not to the company. To regulators. Then another. To auditors. Then another. To legal oversight. Each message was short. Professional. Calm. This is for your review. Please see attached documentation. I'm available if clarification is required. No anger. No revenge. Just truth. The response wasn't immediate. But when it came, it was unmistakable. Follow-up questions. Requests for originals. Verification calls. The machine had started moving. And machines don't stop once they're fed. Inside the company, things changed. Meetings were cancelled. Executives grew quiet. Lawyers appeared. His former boss stopped posting online. HR went silent. And for the first time, they were reacting to him. He didn't celebrate. He just closed his laptop. Because he knew what came next. It started with rumors. An executive on leave. A compliance review routine in nature. A client delaying renewal temporarily. On the surface, nothing looked wrong. But underneath, the structure was cracking. Then came the emails. Not to him. About him. Questions from auditors. Requests for clarification. Legal language replacing corporate tone. The company stopped controlling the narrative. Others were asking now. His former boss disappeared from meetings. Then from email threads. Then from the company website. One by one, names vanished. LinkedIn headlines quietly changed. Resigned. Pursuing other opportunities. Mutual decision. Everyone knew what that meant. Clients noticed too. Contracts were paused. Payments delayed. Trust evaporated. Because corruption doesn't stay internal. It leaks. Then HR called him. Not with an apology. With caution. They wanted to talk. To resolve matters amicably. He listened. And declined. Because accountability isn't negotiable. He watched from a distance. No statements. No interviews. Just consequences unfolding. The system was correcting itself. And it was brutal. Months passed. No dramatic headlines. No public statements. Just silence. The kind of silence that follows consequences. The company reached a settlement. Not announced. Not celebrated. Fines were paid. Policies rewritten. Departments restructured. Executives moved on. Not upward. But away. Careers ended without ceremonies. He was never asked to return. And he wouldn't have. He found a new job. Smaller company. Lower title. Cleaner conscience. The kind of place where emails didn't hide secrets. Sometimes, late at night. He thought about that meeting. The smiles. The word performance. And he realized something. They didn't fire him because he was weak. They fired him because he was dangerous. Because he saw clearly. Because he remembered everything. Because he kept records. He never posted online. Never named names. He didn't need applause. Justice doesn't require an audience. If you think silence means defeat, remember this story. Because the quiet ones are usually the ones saving copies. They fired him thinking they erased the truth. But the truth was already backed up. And it was patient. They thought firing him would end the story. They thought silence meant surrender. But silence was preparation. Because the most dangerous people in any room aren't the loud ones, they're the ones who listen. Remember and keep receipts, the truth doesn't need revenge. It just needs time.